Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you are watching this. And joining me today, I'll move up to the top corner and he will take centre stage, is Mr. Mini Tom. How do, sir?
Hello, mate, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well, thank you. And a little side note for everybody. We are both chasing 1,000 subs. We're both on 900 and something. And if you could subscribe to both channels, that'd be absolutely great.
Yeah, do it.
Exactly. Right, so we'll kick straight off with question number one, which is a theme that I've asked nearly everybody. Why a classic Mini?
Do you know, it's an easy one. Seeing him from when I was a young kid on Italian Job, that sold it for me. I think everyone who's into Minis just loves that film. It's iconic. Not obviously the new one's rubbish, but the original Michael Caine one, perfect.
Yeah.
But as well, my dad was into Minis when he was young, and I kind of ruined his sort of hobby, if you will, when I came along, because he used to grass track him and he used to do auto tests and all that sort of stuff. He had a yellow Mini, and
Is that when he was paying 20 quid a Mini for him?
Exactly, mate. Yeah, he's got a poster of it somewhere with him sat inside it, and his name outside of his grass track Mini.
Wicked.
I'll have to dig it out, but he painted it yellow, blue, and white, obviously Leeds United colours. And yeah, I've seen pictures of it, and I kind of, once I come along, either he couldn't afford to keep doing it, or I just ruined his plans because he had a family to look after.
Well, that's it.
He got in a few crashes, but he was always all right, you know. But yeah, so it was just from that I kind of just jumped into it. I've loved them, you know. Second cow, I couldn't wait.
As soon as people hear that you've got a Mini, and they still think that they're 20 quid or 50 quid, you know, and they go,
far from it.
But oh, definitely. Right, we'll move on to another question here. Obviously, your channel is a restoration channel, like most of the channels that we're both into. What advice would you give to someone
today on Classic Mini DIY? So for today, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you exactly how to take the cylinder head off of your motor.
Looking to start getting into restoring a car, whether it be a Mini or something else? What advice would you give them?
Is this aimed at like a mechanically minded person or a non-mechanically minded person?
Oh, let's say they know it. They can do an oil change and things like that, but they've never done welding. Say, yeah.
And we're looking at just going out and buying one and doing it up themselves.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Well, first of all, have deep pockets, because that's something I've learnt. You can't do them as cheap as what you think you can. Now, I've scrimped and scraped on mine, obviously young family and what have you, and it takes time, so be prepared for it to take time if you haven't got deep pockets. The main things, if you're going out looking to buy one, is look at the rust, but don't just look at what you can see. Think about where that's got to. So if it's got over sills, don't just think, oh, the sills are rusty. You're in a silver shot. Look at your rear heel board, look at your back panel, and do some research before. Have a look at the price of panels before you go and see it. If that scuttle's knackered and that rear hinge panel's knackered, you've got the best part of about, nearly 400 quid just on them two panels. So that's kind of where you need to be thinking, all right, that might be going, but think about worst case. No, it's gone, so it's going to cost that much money to fix. And that's where you can really dig a deep hole. So just have a look at it and do some research. Anything to work on a minute, it's really not that difficult. It's really simple. If I can do it, and you know, we all shot on YouTube, but we can do it. Anyone can do it. It's just literally, can you fulfill what that Mini needs, I suppose.
Well, that's the thing. I think you're right there. And if you've never welded before, you know, I mean, I'd never welded before. Whoa! Touched a Mini. I'd mess around occasionally, but nothing serious, and it can get quite daunting. But one thing I would say is it's just metal at the end of the day. You know, if you as long as you're getting penetration, I'll always have someone check over your first lot of welds. I would say someone who's welded before, just to put an eye in there, and that's why YouTube's good as well, because YouTube will also give you that advice.
Yeah, I like YouTube because, I mean, forums, as you'll appreciate, Alex, are a great resource, and I still look on forums. I'm sure everyone looks on forums when they're still trying to think of that little thing that they just can't find on anywhere else. And they're a great place, they're a great resource. The trouble with forums, it's all written. So,
and it's dead. They're dead now. So
exactly.
you can't get new answers to questions you might have. They are dead now. So
yeah, the best thing about YouTube for me is you can see
visually see it. Yeah.
What's going on? I know when obviously I've had a Mini before, and when I got my second Mini, the chap that really got me going with getting one was Matt Green, and seeing him do that jet black, and it was literally just, I thought, oh, I'm gonna have to get another one. I can't not have one again, and I just, that's what. And then I seen Dave Jag on the YouTube videos and all the other guys. It got me inspired to do it. So
yeah. I think another thing there is don't be too scared. If you don't pay mega money for one that is a project, be aware that it is a project. You know, and like you say, the good advice there, just price up panels and things like that. And then you've got it in your mind then. So say if the car's, I don't know, say if the car's up for £2,000 and you get 1,500 quid, you know you've got 500 quid to play with. So that's a great start. Yeah, no, that's perfect. Good advice. So we'll move on to question number 3. Yep. This is an interesting one because I know you quite well, but I don't think I know you well enough to know this answer. Dream 3-car garage.
I knew it were going to come up, and I really am torn between a lot of different cars. As you know, I love my Mini that I've got now. It's my birthday. I love it to pieces, and the only time I'd sell it in my life is to get a mini van or a Mini Cooper S if I ever got to, the opportunity to own one. Yeah. So, which one would I rather see in my garage? Ooh, it's gonna have to be a Mark 1 Cooper S. Out of the two, it has to be the Cooper S. Yeah. So Toonie, you live in my dream. I want your will.
Oh God, I know.
So, but no, you know what I mean. These things can happen. Toonie's living proof that it can happen. So you never know. So definitely. Car number 1, Mark 1 Cooper S, red with a black roof. That's what it has to be. Car number 2, you'll know, Alex, anyway, I like my BMWs. So as a daily, it'd have to be a BMW M3. Now, year is not really too specific. I don't particularly, I'm probably upset a lot of people, I don't like the E30s, sort of the really early ones. I think they're just a little bit old school, but the E36 and the E46 are sort of 99 to 2004, but I like that model. And then later ones as well. They've been voted
pretty high though, aren't they, recently? In a lot of car in car world, that they are said to be the best ones. I mean, I'm not a BMW man, and I appreciate them for what they are. But yeah, I like that BMW M3. Yeah.
Yeah, and then my next car, it's got to be a supercar in there because we are dreaming. It's got to have to be a McLaren P1. As it stands at the minute, I'd love a McLaren P1. I remember as a schoolboy, it was the McLaren F1 SLR, and that was the car. That was the car. And then since the P1 came out, I'm in love with that car. I just love to own one. But
Going back to your BMW there, I've got a side question for you. Like, it's my channel, I don't care. I'll ask as many questions as I want. Right. Do you think, I heard this in a podcast the other day, Audi do it and BMW now do it as well. Do you think they've killed the M badge by sticking it on everything?
I absolutely agree. You see it with the Audis, S-line, and you've got to look for a little R in front of it if you think it's something special, but everything seems to be like an RS3 on RS4 now. So, and it's the same with BMWs. Like, I could go and get a 116D with an M Sport package on it. It's got the M Sport packages on it. It's just not an M1, it's far from it, but because it looks like one, it's just ruined the whole thing for me.
I always remember being a kid and see if you saw an M3, apart from replicas, but they were
Hey guys, William Murphy here. Hey guys, William Murphy here. Hey guys, William Murphy here.
If you saw an M badge, it meant it was the real deal. It meant it was quick. It meant it had the kit on it. It had the interior. Now, if you see an M badge, there can be like you say, there can be a 116, and that's That's not an M Sport car. So I agree with you. I think they've killed it. These manufacturers now, they're literally. I mean, there's an R line now for the Golfs and stuff like that. So all it means is you get fog lights and black mirrors or something. You know what I mean?
It drives me mad. It's like I'd like to own an M1 at some point. I think after I've finished with this 120D, I'd like to go on to an M1. And I see him driving about, and I say to the missus like, "Oh, do you know, I'd love that car." And she goes, "Well, it's no different than ours." It's exactly the same. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, but it's not. There's subtle, very subtle differences like the exhaust you've got to look for, and like the wheels are obviously a little bit bigger and the brakes a bit bigger. But unless you know exactly what you're looking for, it just looks like another box standard 160 going down the road, and it's just.
But again, they've been voted very highly again from a lot of car critics that I've seen. These new little M1, is it M135 and M140?
Yeah, you get an M135i and the M140, and my uncle's had the M135, I think. And he said, to be fair to the Golfs, he said the Golf R that he had after that was better, and then he had the new Civic Type R after both of them. He's had an M3 as well, so he's he's had a few cars. The Type R is the best front wheel drive car that he's driven. Really? Full stop, absolutely full stop.
Fair play. Right, we'll move on from
anyway, that's question 3. This is documentary, Tom. I was trying not to do this, but here we go.
So, classic question. You've bought a Mini, needs no rough repair. You can't say wheels. What's your first modification?
See, when I was watching these interviews, I had this in the back of my head, my answer, all the way through, and not one person said it.
Go on.
Right up until the point that Mini Matt said it, and then you said it afterwards, and now I'm here saying it, so I'm absolutely good. Yeah. It's a stage 1 kit. Absolutely stage 1 kit.
Well done. Yeah, it is. I think for you go on Mini Spares, you click buy it now for 120 quid. I don't even know how much it is. 120 quid, I think I paid for it. 90 quid. It arrives at your door. You can fit it on your driveway, and away you go.
It's a basic tinkering thing to get a bit more power out of your car. It does get a bit more power because the restrictive exhaust on the Mini, the inlet manifold as standard is terrible, well as the whole system for the exhaust is terrible. But for the best bolt-on kit you can get to add a little bit more performance, and it comes with a needle as well, so you can adjust your fuel in to suit it. It's a standard Mini, absolutely phenomenal. I'd recommend that to anyone going out buying a Mini for the first time, thinking, it's a 998, it's a bit lax. What can I do? Stage 1 kit.
Definitely. Well done. There you go. I don't know this about you. I don't think. Do you have any other hobbies other than Minis, cars?
So there's another Tom Mason on the classic Mini scene doing YouTube.
There is.
And very likewise, I do like a bit of fishing. I must admit, I've not been for ages. But I did like to go do a bit of night fishing, bit of carping, and anything coarse really. In fact, just this lockdown, I was wanting to take my daughter fishing for the first time, but that's kind of we'll get to that part. So fishing I like. Other hobbies, I gotta be honest, I don't really get time for much else other than looking after the kids and going out on day trips, doing all that sort of stuff. It's all there. So if it weren't Minis, I'd probably do a bit more fishing or there'd be something. I like DIY as well. I love DIY. I've done the garden. I tell you what I do like at the minute as well. It's brickying. I can get right into doing some brickwork. Yeah, I tried it for the first time in lockdown. I think it's brilliant. I love it. It's so therapeutic and relaxing. Daft as it sounds, it's a win. It's great. I couldn't do it as a job. Bugger that. No, it's good.
It's not about getting cold and wet on a building site, is it?
Yeah, no, I've done enough for that in my job as it is, mate. I don't want to be doing that. It's a 8-hour day thing every day. But no, I'm just glad I like Minis because that's my passion. So
fair enough. No, fair enough. Right, I know some of these. Some people won't. Let's say some of your previous car history.
Previous car history, right? Well, we go back to when I was 16. I wanted a Mini, and I asked for a Mini, and what I got was a little poster of a Mini. It's probably in one of them drawers somewhere. It was like the metal signs of Minis. I got that. I was gutted. So thanks mum and dad for that one. So first car, 16, I got a little Citroen Saxo 1.1 T-Reg off my granddad, and I paid.
Was it a Furio?
No, it was 1.1. So, but I'll tell you that was the quickest car ever. Honestly, 1.1, little. I think it was like 60 brake or something daft like that. But yeah, it were in like a burgundy colour,
Okay, so it's a proper granddad colour then.
Oh, it were. I mean, I took that to college and doing mechanics and stuff, and everyone said, "Oh, it's a pink car." Is that? I said, "Mate, it's like burgundy. It's red. Give over. It's pink, is that, mate? It's not." Even painters in bloody paint shop next to me like, "It's pink, that mate." I'm like, "It's not, mate." But honestly, the wheels, I had Compomotive Motorsports on it because they were a free-stud hub, so the only wheels we get was very rare Citroen standard ones or some Compomotive Motorsports, which were like ridiculous money. I got some second hand and I sold that car for a profit, and I think I sold it on the wheels more than anything else. So that was my first car, lots of fun in that. Then I got a Mini, that was a Mini Checkmate Racing Flame. That was a little 998, loved that car, had it for about a year and a half. Just absolutely chewed through wheel bearings, and it weren't cheap ones, it were Timkins as well. It just chewed through them. So it got too expensive to run, and like a fool, you know, being young and silly, I sold it, and then I did go and buy a Saxo Fiorio 1.4 in blue.
Was it the metallic blue that they do?
Yeah, and I wrapped it around a tree. Well, I hit a brick wall, then a signpost, and then a tree, and it's actually
So you were at a brick wall, a signpost, and a tree, and you're still here in a Saxo.
Yeah, well, it was on a country road, and I lost it on the corner. I wasn't going quick. I was doing about 20 because around that where it is, it's in Minton Old Lane. It's an absolute nightmare to get around. You can't go fast. And I had lots of tools in the back, and I went around this corner, and the back end stepped out because the light is out on the back of them, and just greasy, mud on road and what have you, and the back end set. So I adjusted it a few times down this road, and where I ended up was in this brick wall, signpost and tree, and the sign kind of bent backwards on itself. It's still there now. That was 8 years ago. I pushed the sign into the tree, and it's still there now. Until the policeman watches this video and goes and removes it. So I just told you what it is. That's going in my garden, that sign, at some point if I get it I'm big enough.
I tell you what though, you're lucky, because my mate, I remember back in the cruising days, my mate had a little Fiorio and he reversed it into a sign in Sainsbury's car park. It looked like a truck in it. So
well, to be fair, this is how hard I hit it. I mean, within 2 days I had that car fixed. Granted, it had a black bonnet and a yellow bumper, or other way around. Yellow bonnet, black bumper. But within 2 days, that was back on the road, taking me back and forth to college and stuff. So
fair enough.
You know, it wasn't that hard of a smash. And then after that smash, I got a donor car off eBay. I got a VTR, Saxo VTR, 1.68 valve, and I basically got it to take the engine out, put it into the Saxo, kept a 1.4 box in it for a bit of a quicker shift. And the clutch, so it was like a Lightning flywheel. So I did that, put the new engine in it, changed the body panels that I'd smashed up previously and replaced with crap ones. I changed them for blue ones, and then I put the rear axle on it because on a 1.6 the axle on the back is disc brakes, so I changed that. So in essence, it was a VTR, and I loved that car. And then I sold that, got a Citroen C2 Loeb. Again, real quick car, reliability wise, shocking. It had like something 40,000 miles and it was shocking. So I chopped that in. Got the BMW 116i. Loved that car. There was nothing wrong with that car. I had it for like 3 and a bit years. It was just a family car. Obviously, I had the Mazda MX5 for a short while. I had the BMW Mini Cooper for a little while. Once they'd all gone and the BMW had gone, I got the 120DX drive that I drive now. That's my daily. And of course, along that line, the Mini got bought in 2017, I think. So
from around here as well, wasn't it?
It was from. I have to dig it out. It might have been Oldham, either Oldham or like properly in Manchester. I can't remember. But yeah, it was from around you out there. Yeah.
Nice one. So, I mean, I remember looking for my first car. My first car was a Nova Saloon 1.2 manual choke in flame pink because the bodywork had faded that bad. It'd done 19,000 miles from new, and I was looking at Saxos and Clio Mark 1s, and everyone I looked at, I've got friends in the motor trade, which is dead handy because you just get into HPI, and every single one was a Cat C. Every single bloody one I looked at was a Cat C, and you ring the seller up and go, "It's a Cat C, mate." "Oh, I didn't know." "Yeah, okay, whatever." Anyway, I remember getting offered this Nova Saloon, and I was like, "I've got street cred, I can't be driving around with that." So I left, and I slept on it, and I was like, I need to go buy that car. And I went and bought it, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So luckily, I avoided the Saxo days, but I was a Vauxhall Nova fan, so you know what I mean? It's not much difference.
You missed out. I love my little Saxos. There's a Saxo actually parked outside my garage right now, and it's a chap that lives down the road, and I was talking to him for a day. And I've told you before, Alex, my vision of a project I'd love to do, not with this Mini because that's staying in A series, but if I ever got another shell, like front end cut off, a lot of it, I'd want to put a 1.68 valve Saxo engine into it with a box.
Yeah, no, I know we've spoken about it before.
Yeah, I'd love to do it.
They're a great engine. I mean, I had a 2 litre 8 valve Nova, and to be honest, probably one of the only cars around here that could keep up with it was VTRs, because they're so light.
They're so heavy. They're so heavy,
and
good little things.
They're brilliant cars. I wouldn't want to crash in one, I'll be honest.
No, I like cheese, but yeah.
Yeah, but there was a couple around here that I could hammer Subarus off the line because of the weight of them and everything like that. I was stripped out, roll caged, but the only things that could keep up with me was Saxo VTRs. Even the VTSs, they couldn't keep up with me because they take so long to get up there. Whereas the VTRs, 8 valve is all the way for me. I love it.
Yeah, you get that grunt low down, don't you?
Definitely. So we'll move on from that then. Hardest, obviously, I know you've worked on a lot of different cars, obviously with your history as well. So, hardest job you've done on a Mini, hardest job you've done, period, on a car?
On a Mini, the hardest job, I'm not going to say the cleverest pin on a clutch because, well, look at me, I'm stick thin. It's not hard for me to get down there and do it.
I know, yeah, you can do it. You can do it from driver's window.
I just curl up in a ball and get into it. I'm 6 foot tall, but I can still curl up in a ball and get in there. So, no, I'm not going to say cleverest pin on a clutch because it's not. I think probably the most awkward job on a Mini to do for me anyway. I can get in anywhere, but I have got big hands. It's got to be that bottom hose or the speedo drive actually from the bottom of the gearbox.
Yeah.
Them for me on a Mini is a nightmare.
How many people have fitted engines and then forgot not to fit stuff?
Not me. I've not done it yet. Luckily, but I did come close. But no, I've not done it yet. Hardest job on any car. I have worked on a hell of a lot of cars. I've done clutches on my back, on axle stands, and engines out on my back, and them ones.
To put it easier for you, then what if someone came up to you and offered you any amount of money to do, and you'd have to think twice about it?
Like I said, there's some awkward ones. If I think about the awkward ones that I've done, water pump on a BMW Mini, that's fairly awkward, but not too bad. I think the worst, the one that I regretted the most was probably on a 2013 Volkswagen Beetle 2 litre TDI.
Yeah. And
it was changing, and this applies to most Volkswagens and Audis because they're all same engine, same platform. But that car, because of the emissions scandal that they had, I think it's to do with that anyway, I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure it's the EGR valve just clogs up on them and it rigs them. To change the EGR valve on one of them is, I mean, some people say you've got a subframe out of it, you've got to take drive shafts off.
Really?
And you are, honestly, on your back doing it. I didn't have to take any of that off, I managed it just, but it did take like 4 hours. But you've literally got to get your hands into the places where they just shouldn't go.
Yeah.
And like the oil feed pipe on the top of the turbo, to undo that, I'm quite lucky I had a flanged spanner big enough for doing brake pipes. I think it's like 17mm. But even that was a struggle. So
really?
if you come to me tomorrow, Alex, and said I've got this Beetle and needs an EGR valve, I'll tell you to get back to Manchester with your 200 quid. I won't be touching it. Horrible thing.
No, it's fair enough. It's fair enough. I mean, talking about hands in places they shouldn't be, it's sort of like there's a lot of times I come back in and my shoulders are aching or something like that, or my arms are cut to ribbons, and I'll also say, well, why have you done it? I say, because I'll never get back in that position ever again. So I have to do it at that particular point. If I'm laid under that car and my hand is in a weird concoction, it has to come off there and then, otherwise it's never coming off because I can't get back in there. So fair enough. So that's a strange one. So that 2 litre TDI, that was fitted in everything. That was, you're talking A4s, you're talking A3s, everything really. So
it's a nightmare, mate. It's an absolute nightmare. It's because it's a water cooled EGR valve as well. So when you take it off, you get piss wet through because obviously your coolant leaks out, and it's like that big to come out, and it's just so cumbersome to try and work it by. So that's why we say you've got to get things out of the way first to get to it.
Have you ever worked on anything Japanese yet?
The only stuff I worked on that's Japanese was at college, and it was a Honda Prelude, the real old type with 4-wheel steering, and that that attacked me, that car. I had to take the petrol tank out of it to get the 4-wheel steering dropped down. And like a young, dumb lad at college, 17, 18, whatever I was, I had goggles on my head, like sunglasses. You know when you put them up and You look dead cool because we're all too hard to wear safety goggles and stuff. And this tank was drained and the petrol feed pipe would not come off, so I've got a pair of grips on it and I'm yanking it and yanking it and yanking it. But anyway, it's up on ramp. And suddenly this pipe come off and just petrol went straight in my eyes. So one of the stupidest things I've done was do that because I had to get sort of, I was like a blind man walking towards the sinks to go and wash it all out. And you learn your lesson quick. But yeah, that's probably only Japanese.
The reason I asked about Japanese cars, I've got the RAV4, and I tell you what, it's a delight to work on. Oh my god! Everything is very well thought out. You know, there's little flaps to get fuel filters out and stuff like that, and you know, to do an oil change on it, it's got a full called shit shields underneath them. But there's just little screws that you just undo, and a little flap folds down, and that's where your oil filter is. And you go a bit further, and that's where your drain plug is. Honestly, one of the best cars I've ever worked on. I was always scared of Japanese, but now I've had the RAV, love it.
No, I can't recall anything else that I've worked on. It's been mainly Fords, Vauxhalls, Citroens, Peugeots, you normal run-of-the-mill stuff that you see. BMW as well, obviously. And actually, the Mazda MX5, that was Japanese.
What do you think of it?
Great fun little car, but rusty even a Mini. If you're gonna, bit of advice if anyone's out here, if you're gonna get a Mazda MX5, get a Mark 1 because they don't rust as much as the Mark 2s and the Mark 2.5s. Yeah. If you get a Mark 3 driving a boat, so really, if you're going to get an MX5, go for a Mark 1 because the rust on the later cars is terrible. Oh, there was
a lot at the recent track day. It must have been, I don't want to offend them, but it must have been Mazda MX5 Owners Club or something there because there must have been about 8 or 9 of them. And some of them were supercharged. And I tell you what, I've said it for years and years and years. As a budget track car, boom, MX5, go. Simple as.
They're a great car because the engine on the MX5s and the 1s, 2s and 2.5s, it's actually from an engine, from a car that's fitted assembled with turbo, so things like your oil feed pipe for your turbo, that's already there. So to actually turbo that car, it's really, really simple. It's designed for it, you just didn't put one on it. So to turbo and supercharge, it's dead easy. So for a driver's car and a fun little weekend toy, they're brilliant. Just beware of rust on the chassis legs on the front, because of laminated metal, they just rot out from there. They
hide it well as well, don't they, the rust? I mean, I remember watching Car Throttle, and Alex has got Phil, the little MX5. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
And that went for a full. He went, it's needing a full restoration, and they took it, and they were just. Once I took the wing off and stuff, there was just holes there, and I was just like, whoa! And you know, they cut the rear quarter off, and the whole chassis leg is just. You can put your fist in it, and you just like. You just don't see it from the outside. You think, it's got a bit of bodywork rust, but Jesus, they do rot. So
the sort of other side to that is, I mean, that one I got for like £200.
Yeah.
So the other side to it is, if you've got a welder and you're fairly handy, you can pick them up cheap, do them up and sell them. That's what I did with that one. You can get the repair panels for like £70, I think it is, off some website, and they slot straight in and they've got all the metal. But like I did, I just made it out of some steel. It's just literally a U-shape of steel. You bolt it in, weld it in, and then put some captive nuts on the insides and stuff. So it's pain to replace, but you can do it.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Like I say, I think I've never owned one. I've been very close to owning probably 10 in my lifetime. You know, I've been at the point where, like you say, a couple of £100, I'm thinking, is it worth it for me to flip it, sort of thing. But I've never got involved for some reason. It's just never been the right time. So right, so let's move on to some YouTube questions. What made you start a YouTube channel?
Well, I sort of started going on to this, and I thought you might ask me it, so I backtracked a little bit. So it was watching Matt Green do it, and then everyone else that I kind of sort of started watching, and I kind of thought, well, I'm not going to claim I'm the smartest bloke in the world, because I'm not.
No.
But I'm not daft either. So I went my way around the car, and I kind of thought, these videos are really, really good. Why don't I get involved with that? So, you know, I thought, well, if people can see, because there's some things that I was looking for on YouTube that I couldn't find, so I thought, well, if I find it, I'll make a video, and it's a great tool, and it's becoming like a form, the amount of stuff that's on there for me.
It's almost a give back as well, I see.
Exactly.
So, you know, you've watched other people do it, and you think, oh, well, I could maybe help someone out, you know, and so I think it's great,
so it's probably sort of a bit of that, and then for the second part of it was literally, like, I've seen how you guys grow, kind of getting on, and I kind of thought, well, you know what, I've thought about for a while doing YouTube. I kind of like to get to know these guys a bit better. So I actually emailed Dave Jaguar, sent me this top, I won a competition of his, and I emailed him back and said, you know, really, really grateful, yada yada. And I said, by the way, Dave, I've got a minute. I'd love to start a YouTube. Have you got any advice? And it was Dave that said, you know what, Tom, just go for it. So I sent him a little snippet of what I'd kind of done and sent it over to him, and Dave said, yeah, brilliant, yeah, why not just put it on? So I did, and that's why I'm like now. And he's copying me now, like with the classic and custom, isn't there? Same name, doing a mini on YouTube, he's copying me, yeah.
Hey, I tell you,
is he from Yorkshire?
I know, you two, I've got you as Mini Tom Leeds, and I've got him as Mini Tom Hull. And the amount of messages I nearly send you each other is just unbelievable.
I think I tagged him in something a while ago, and I put Tom Mason, and I like tagging myself, and I'm like, what the friggin' hell's going on?
It's weird, but we'll move on.
Yeah.
So obviously you've named a couple of channels there. So name a couple of your favourite channels. They don't have to be mini related if you don't want. They can be. Do you watch anything else on YouTube maybe or?
God, yeah. So I'll start by saying everyone that I watch on YouTube, mini-wise, I watch the videos. I love them. I always watch them. I always give them a like and a comment and stuff if I can, whatever. Non-mini-wise, it's kind of a couple of different little things. To be fair, I watch, like I mentioned with the bricky, and there's a chap called Stu Crompton. He's a bricky, and I just find it so therapeutic sometimes to watch a bit of bricky. It's daft, weird as that sounds. Another chap. Is AVE or Ave, whatever you say about his name, I don't know, but I mean, I'm not particularly interested in sort of hydraulics and CNC machine and that sort of stuff, but I watch it more for him. His personality is so funny.
That's it. So if some people can present well, you'll watch it. Yeah.
Double Boost. He's a chap from either Newcastle or Durham, that sort of northeast way. He's a machinist, a tool maker, and he puts some real good videos out there. Yeah, it's Double Boost is his channel. And probably another chap that I watch is plumberparts.co.uk. That, because obviously a gas man, I watch a little bit of that sort of stuff, but it's like a busman's holiday. So plumberparts.co.uk, I think that guy's funny and he's done really well for himself with it. And there's another chap who lives in Leeds called Alan Hart. Used to work at the same company a little while ago. Didn't know him then, but you know, we used to work at the same company. I'm not going to name who it is. But yeah, Alan Hart is a gas man. He lives in Leeds. I've not actually met the guy. I would like to at some point because he's only in North Leeds like me. But yeah, I just watch a little bit of his videos every now and again, tune in, see what he's up to.
Like you say though, you don't necessarily have to be interested in that particular item. Sometimes you just I watch a lot of people because of the way they present or the way they come across on camera. I am a massive fan of Have a Go Hero. You know, some guy in his shed having a go. I love it. Yeah. You know, so don't get me wrong, I love the big production stuff. Mighty car mods blow everybody out of the water. They're absolutely superb. But I do also like me man in a shed sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Just giving it a go. So
well, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, fair enough. So we will finish off, as we always finish off on these. What can we expect coming up on the channel? I won't say 2020, just coming up in general. What's coming up?
Coming up in general. Right, well, the engine's running fairly good now.
Excellent.
There will be a door hinge video getting released imminently, as well as a little car show video getting released imminently. So I'm just keeping them, you know, letting my videos kind of get their traction done first and then release them. So they're ready to go, really. I've got a door skinning video ready to go almost. I just need to put a few things together. But that's more of a time lapse. I've done the door skins in previous videos, more in depth. This is just a time lapse of doing. Then I've got my cooling video, where I flushed the whole system with some Thermex F3 central heating cleaner. I won't say whose van it fell off the back of, but it wasn't mine. So that's worked really, really well. I need to put some coolant in it, so I'm waiting to get some coolant and I can flush it all out again and do that and then just wrap that video up and it's done then. So that's out there. Once that's done,
Tom stacked his videos, yeah.
Stacking videos, see, professional. Right.
Look at that, that's a proper YouTuber. That.
After that, my next sort of plans is to unpick the front end because that's all been replaced fairly recently, not by me.
Yes.
I'm not too pleased with the job that's been done, to be honest with you. So I want to unpick it all. I need to change the scuttle panel and then refit the front end, and then it is literally just waiting to do the painting then, and that's me done. And like I say, once that's done,
the good thing is you are almost a rolling restoration now, aren't you? You know, you can drive it, you can get in it. You know, a bit like me, and I'm not trying to be offensive here. I know you very well. You don't care too much what it looks like right now. You can get out and drive it, so who gives a shit? Do you know what I mean?
I'm getting a bit sick of it though, to be honest with you, mate. All covered in primer, but yeah, no, I know what you mean. Do you know what? I went to that car show the other week and with Andy A Speed and what have you, and I went in there, and mine was by far like the roughest looking Mini. Even though it's solid, it was the roughest looking Mini. And I said to one of his mechanics, I said, it's embarrassing bringing it here with all these nice shiny Mark 1s and you know everything's right nice and clean. And he says to me, did Darren, he goes, but do you know what? I love seeing that. I love seeing, you know, just someone getting out and enjoying the car for what it is. And that's what it is. It doesn't look pretty at the minute, but you know what? I'm enjoying it. I love driving the thing. Yeah. I take the kids out, I take my niece out in it. So
me and Tooney have said it. I mean, you know, for Tooney, all of his detailing.
Apart from his rear subframe on his van.
No, yeah, well, we won't talk about that. It's falling to bits, but anyway. I hope he makes it this far because he'll be.
He won't do because it's documentary Tom.
So basically, even for all his detailing and how perfectionist he is, even he appreciates a working Mini. I'm a massive fan of a working Mini. Just getting out there, because they're not all beautiful. They're not all show winners. Because if they're all show winners, it'd be boring. So, like, you know, I appreciate a working Mini. So it's nice that you can still get out in it. So yeah. So front end and a paint job. Is that what we're looking at?
Hopefully so. Yeah. Hopefully so.
Good. Well, I think we'll leave it there, bud. What time are we on there? We're on 35, 36. That's a good show, isn't it? So, yeah. As always, thank you so much for taking the time out, mate, to be on the channel.
It's been a pleasure. Absolute pleasure. I've been waiting for this for ages anyway, so yeah, pleasure.
So we've got more coming up now. I have taken a break, but we have got more coming up over the next few weeks. I will leave it as a surprise of who they are, but yeah. So thanks for joining me, Tom. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Before you shoot off, though,
go on.
Have you got a Mini? Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. Come on.
Well, if you'd have watched my video.
No, anyone can Photoshop stuff, mate. I want to know, have you got a Mini?
I do want a minute. Do you know what I'll do? Just for you, Tom. Just for you. I don't even know if newspapers exist anymore. But what I will do is I'll go buy a newspaper of it, and I will take a picture of it or a video of it next to my Mini for you.
Oh, whatever, mate. Anyone can Photoshop stuff nowadays.
No, listen. Thanks for joining me. It's been absolutely brilliant. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, buddy. Appreciate it as always.